Hey, give me a minute to, oh, don't hit that. Give me a minute to get myself together. Thank you for coming back, Kendall. Yeah, I did have it initially for I think 7, and then like a day or two ago, I had to change it at the last minute because life was lifing. Ciao. That's not what I was looking for. How is everybody doing? Let me know if you can hear me because you know how StreamYard, the internet, my mic sound nice. All of that does. Ooh, let's not knock that over. I got lemonade tonight. I got lemonade tonight. Oh, it was good. Now, thank you. Good, 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 good. Now, baby, now let me tell you about these childrens. So, my 15-year-old done broke his phone for the 5011th time, which is why I ended up changing it because I'm like, all right, I'll go to the mall, I'll go to the Apple store and, get everything taken care of. So I made an appointment. We got there. It's like 5 something. They took us pretty quickly and they're like, oh, it looks like your insurance is expired. We're just going to use those words. So then they sent me to T-Mobile. So now I go on over to T-Mobile and T-Mobile like, oh, okay, well, you could do like, why do you have a store? You could do it online. So now I'm walking through the mall. I got something else to pick up, put in this claim, and then it's like, nope, you need to call. I call. It's like, no, you need to chat. I was like, you know what? Yeah. So today was a little rough, but just that particular experience, I will say. I was like, and I told him, I said, next time you break another phone, I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying for it. I'm even gonna tell you what number phone this is that he's on. My oldest son never had problems with his phone like that. I never had problems with my phone like that. Knock on wood. And the baby ain't got no phone yet. But ooh, so I'm home. And we're ready to do this. And I did watch the first Ultimatum and I watched Ultimatum Queer Love, which is 2 separate things. So now this is Ultimatum season 2 because Queer Love is, I guess, its own entity. So I'm looking forward to a season 2 of that. And I was watching like Tate's take. He did all 8 episodes, and I was like, they dropped all 8 episodes. How am I gonna do all 8 episodes? And then I watched, and I was like, I can do them all together. I'm gonna wait till the whole thing comes out, and I'm gonna do them all together because this ain't giving what it has supposed to have gave, and it just gives us something else to talk about. It's just regular homemade lemonade, actually, with a little pineapple lemonade I made. So that's what we're sipping on because I was out in these streets. Although I wasn't really drinking like that, but I gotta take it easy because I don't like to drink water, so I get dehydrated really quickly. Hey, Shayna. All right, so I guess we could get into the doggone thing. I don't know how many people are coming. It's kind of, I have to get out of my head on when I get these things up because it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. So some people get them out right away. I guess Thursday was the last 2 episodes, the last episode and the reunion. So we're going to talk about all of them together. I got a bunch of notes, which ain't even really necessary. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. So, as you know, let me make sure I use some of these 5011 banners. These 5011 banners that I then put up here because I had to run and do that too. I forgot to do my banners. I forgot to do my slides, but I did it earlier, so everything is done. So now you guys know the concept of the show. That basically somebody is giving somebody an ultimatum, and they have, I think is it 7 weeks? Let me do the math in my head. Yeah, 7 weeks. So they got a week to date and decide, and then 3 weeks with their trial marriage, and then 3 weeks to their original partner. So I think it's 7 in all. Now, honestly, I think the concept of this show is absolutely ridiculous. This is Nick and Vanessa's brainchild because she gave him an ultimatum, which she's going to tell you 50-11 times. So this is This is their brainchild, and they say ultimatums typically don't work, and I think it worked for her because that she is a second marriage, and for me, I just think if you get to the point of an ultimatum, like you might as well just call it curtains. That's just my Yeah, I just be experimenting to make it up thing that has some frozen pineapples in the grind it up in the blender, put it in. I was like, we're gonna go with it. So yeah, so like I said, I think the concept is crazy, but it makes for a messy show and it's reality TV. So why not give us some messy TV? So at first I wrote down four couples, and the way it ended up, I was like, when they gave us the fifth couple, I was like, these people are boring. So let me see what I have here. Um, oh, I forgot I have slides. I have slides. Okay, I hope they're in order. Yes. So our first couple is Antonio and Roxanne, and I put them in order. Whichever name I say first, that's the person that gave the ultimatum. So Antonio is 30, Roxanne is 31, but the people say Sean look no 31. They've been dating for 4 years. He gave her the ultimatum. He was ready from day one, and she wants somebody who is ambitious, which says a lot. Now, she works a lot, and she says that she's I can't remember. She said she's not ready for marriage or she didn't want marriage, which was crazy because our parents had been married a real long time and like our grandparents. So we'll get into that later on in the recap. But I was like, So let's see. Our next couple was, yay, they're in order. Lisa and Brian. Lisa is 31. Brian is 28. They've been dating 2 years. She's a six-figure chick because his complaint, she's giving him the ultimatum. He wants to be in a good financial state, which a lot of times when they say that to me, I feel like it's kind of a little bit of a cop out for something else. Did we get to see on this show? Not really. But usually that's how it goes. Her biological clock is ticking, she wants marriage before kids. And they're playing house. So here they are. Our next couple, nope, see, right there. Our next couple was Ryan, and I have to struggle not to call her Ryan because I work with a Ryan who spells her name exactly the same, but she has an E at the end. And James, Ryan, see, Ryan is 24 and James is 23, and they've been dating for 7 years. And first, when I saw the 7 years, I was like, 7 years? Like, girl, let it go. But then when I saw the age and realized that these two have been dating since high school, I was like, oh, yeah, that was like my brother and his wife. And you kind of can't rush things when you're that young because you gotta get out and live some life. So they've never even lived together. They've stayed together for like a couple of weeks, I guess family trips, vacations, but never really lived together. Now he says he doesn't believe in one true love. And I was kind of like, and he also is another one that wants to be in a better financial space. But for them, I could kind of understand it a little bit more than our good guy, Brian. Then we have Trey and Raya. He's 28. She's 24. I believe he's an engineer. And she says that she has no love role model, which his parents have been married for a long time. So I'm like, have you not met his parents? Like, they didn't give you some type of, role model experience. They've been dating for 2 years. Yeah, the parents are married 30 years plus. They do live together. Now, he has his financials together. She's still trying to figure herself out and what she wants out of life. Um, okay, that's what I said. She wants him to be more romantic. And the internet will get us every time. So she's looking at this TikTok and she's showing him these things. And so one time, he gets the music playing and the flowers and the laundry on the bed, and maybe not the laundry on the bed. I don't know if that's what did it for her, but this is what Sir did. And she was like, this don't look like TikTok. To which Sir decided, I ain't going to try no more. Now, Trey, you are absolutely wrong for that. If at first you don't succeed, come on now. What did Aaliyah say? But anyway, so that is these two. Was there anything else I want to say about these two people before I move on? Oh, and she works at Hooters, which is going to come up later on. And then our final couple is Kat and Alex. Kat is 27, Alex is 31. They have also been dating 2 years, and I don't really have much to say about these two. She just loves this man's dirty drawers, and he just works really, really, really hard. So let me just go through the notes. So then, you see them on their last. I don't know if they have or if they haven't. I'm assuming they have. My whole thing is, if his parents have been married for 30 years, then why haven't you seen what, like, I'm saying, like love and commitment and all of those things look like to have some type of model? But this is what Miss Raya has said. So, because she comes from a single parent family. And another sidebar I did have is, I don't feel like, and I think somebody else felt the opposite way. I can't remember which YouTuber said it. I don't think we should have 20 something folks on the show, especially the couple that is, 7 years, but they've been dating since high school. Like, that's not for here. That's not for here. But the 20s, I kind of feel like you have time, and your 20s are the date. And I mean, I can't say anything because I was the same way. I had my youngest son at 24, and I was fully prepared to be married at then, but God takes care of babies and fools. So I was engaged, but the marriage did not happen. But I think 20 years old is a little bit young to be giving you. I don't think you should give an ultimatum to begin with, but to be giving an ultimatum at 20, it's like, just keep on moving. So you see these people that having real world conversations, and then at like 1 o'clock in the morning, Lisa, let me see if I can get Lisa back up. Let's double back. She starts to, there she go. She starts losing her stuff, and she's like, she wants to go. And child, she was crying. She wants to go home. She wants to go home. She wants to go home. So they get up the next morning, and he's basically telling her, look, you brought me on this show, so you're gonna have to get used to seeing me talk to other people, seeing me date other people. Child. Hey, Detroit. I cannot. And in this case, they very well may be. So let's speed on through this episode, because like I said, I took all of these notes and really for no reason. So we'll just breeze through this really quickly. They have 1 week to make the choice. So we see a bunch of them dating each other. Lisa is the one that issued the ultimatum. This is Lisa here on our screen. So she decides to go for people who also issued the ultimatum, which was a smart move to me, because in the first season, some of them went for people who didn't issue the ultimatum, and I'm like, you just getting the same thing that you left, because they can't commit or make up their mind either. But they say sometimes maybe you might eyes for somebody else, which is the premise of the show, which again I think is bananas, but it's entertainment. So Roxanne, baby, let me see if I can get Miss Roxanne back up on the screen. Roxanne, who is 31 and does not look 31. I mean, she's beautiful. She just don't look 31. And I'm not muted. Peace. Figure it out. Any other time, my children. Yeah, she definitely looks older than 31. And this is not even, I think it may be the makeup. Because she tends to wear a lot of makeup. You just see a lot of people vibing. Like, you see James is like vibing with Raya, and they're connecting. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna get to that in the next one. This one, the huge takeaway was this one, Roxanne. She hold, please. I'm gonna give y'all a little music. Baby, I'll tell you every time, every time. This little boy made me not forget what I had to say. We were talking about Roxanne, Roxanne. So she was very much giving me the girl from Love is Blind that was like, I'm a ballerina. I'm a ballerina. I'm a ballerina. Because Roxanne was like, I'll work. I'll work. Baby, I get the job done. Miss Independent, work, 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 work. Like everybody that she talked to, all she was talking about was her drive. So basically at night, all the couples get together and they always want to discuss, oh, like who did you have the best time with? Which I always think is like, y'all just might not want to do that. Like it is what it is. You're going to find out sooner or later. So, a couple people do start to share, and basically, we will summarize it as Lisa lost her entire shit. She's screaming and yelling and calling riot. She walked up on the two of them having a conversation, and Riot obviously was not about the drama, so she just exited stage left. But she's going off on this man, calling homegirl the Hooters B, and I could see you being with Roxanne, because she's a boss like me. What is she gonna give you? She's the Hooters. I said, baby. And it all ended, I think, episode 2, it all ended with Lisa mushing that man in his face, if I believe correctly. Let me just, yep, she mushed that man square in his face. And I was like, yikes, 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 yikes. That one right there. That one right there. Yeah. Absolutely. And they were providing us with all the drama for the show. But I knew once she mushed him, I was like, are they going to let her stay? But let's fast forward to episode 2. I did this, and look, I just did this to be, because it's not even really that serious, and I don't even want to be here talking that long because it wasn't given that much. So we kind of just pick up with this episode 2, unexpected. Hopefully I spelled anything right. Revelations. Lisa blacking out, calling this girl, the Hooters B, and it's just drama. But I'm saying to myself, this is what you wanted. You brought this man on the show. You knew how it was gonna go. I'm assuming they explained to you how it was gonna go. So for you to get this hype was kind of crazy. So then everybody starts going on dates. And I have them couple up by their dates on here, I believe. Let me see. Right. So Roxanne and Alex go on a date, and basically these two are a match made in our work financial heaven. Then we have Kat and Antonio, and they're talking about jealousy and child. Okay. James and Raya, which these two are connecting on, both coming from single parent families, and he didn't have a great relationship with his mom. And then, so I hit the wrong thing, Raya and Brian. And these two were cute. They communicated pretty well. I was wondering, I'm like, okay, this is obviously her better connection than James, but we shall find out why we saw it this way. She trust issues. Oh no, he had trust issues with Lisa, which she mushed him in the face. So there's that. They talk about finances and wanting kids, and um let me not leave this out. So earlier in episode 1, Raya was saying to Trey, who she came with, that she wasn't sure if she wanted to have kids, and what if she don't want to have kids, and he was saying he just wanted her, and she was really feeling like she didn't want to have no kids. But he was saying, I just want you. And that's one of them huge deal breakers. But okay, Trey. So now we find out when she's talking to Brian that she had a pregnancy, and that when she went to the doctor, there was no heartbeat. She was devastated. So this is why she says this. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So then next we had Lisa and Trey, and they're saying that she had a problem with her dude, but she's saying that, she's upset that this, she's liking him and this date, more than she should. And he's calling her passionate for what she did. And I mean, yes, but no, we're going to say violence is never the answer. But like I said, it gave us some drama. But we're going to say it was wrong, people. It was wrong. I don't want y'all going off on me. Is because if the shoe was on the other foot, I would be a lot less calm. So, Lisa, that wasn't nice. So, she's giving him a hug and she really appreciates it. And Trey, I had in my notes, is giving me great value Daniel Kaluuya, just in my opinion, y'all. Um, so we found out that she's an athlete. They have a lot in common. And then he was saying that he doesn't really have good communication with his own girlfriend, and that she talks about makeup, and then I'm like, well, why don't you start talking about other things? It was just really weird. And then we have Trey and Ryan, and these two are, Southern charm. They, easygoing. It was a pretty good couple, but again, I thought that his stronger match was with Lisa, but I digress. He's flirting and telling her how great she is. We kind of get the gist that he's maybe a little insecure. After I didn't call the man the great value Daniel Kaluuya, that he's like a little insecure about his looks. So then we get on to, like I said, I can kind of sum them up pretty quickly. We got on to episode 3, which was the choice. And so when everybody sits down to the table, like I said, we have 5 couples. We sit down to the table and there's a couple missing. Lisa and Brian drop out. And so they're not going to be in the show anymore. Lisa took a pregnancy test that morning and found out that she was pregnant and that they did not want to come address the group about it. So here we are. So when we open episode 3, we get to see her telling him that she's pregnant, and he, she still wants to get married, but basically they're not going to do the ultimatum anymore. Their problems are not solved, clearly, because a baby solves nothing. And I was like, I mean, I guess she's happy, because he's like, I can't remember if he asked her, how did this happen? I was like, sir, do you not know how you make a baby? But I digress. He looked happy, but at the same time, he looked a little hesitant. And she was drinking the night before, and being that she went from, she was crying the first night, she couldn't take it. Then she was being physically, violent and calling the child a Hooters bitch. So now you're pregnant. So, everybody kind of thought that it was a reach and, it was random and maybe she wasn't pregnant. But before we even got to the reunion being aired, she did an interview with E! News, and we found out that the two of them did have a baby boy that's 4 months old. Now, I can't remember if they were still together, but I digress. So I'm thinking, I was like, where does this leave everybody else? And it made sense, because I was wondering, everybody else, they showed us one date, but we got 2 dates. We got 2 dates from Trey and 2 dates from Raya. And that's why. And I kind of felt a little gypped, like I wish that there was another couple, but at this point it was kind of too late. So this is, basically what we got. Um it was. And I was like, after that, it wasn't really much to the show, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, so now we get to the table, and I'm not even going to get into all the pleasantries, because basically what happens is I'm going to show you the couples, which are exactly what I have on here. Let me just go back. All right, so let's start from here. So Roxanne is matched up with Alex. I have to try not to confuse them, because he's Alex and her boyfriend she came with is Antonio. Antonio, who I was just talking about, ended up with Kat. Um, Raya ended up with James. Trey ended up with Ryan. So oops, back it up. So basically what we got was a glorified wife swap because it was four couples and they basically just switch partners. Um yeah, and then we kind of see them moving into their living space. I think this year they must have been usually they're in the same building, but I think they were in two different buildings. Um I think, yeah, Antonio was sleeping on an air mattress. I was like, okay, Ryan got her dog. And then James starts to struggle. He, excuse me, was sitting and holding her hand, and they were talking about, on their dates, and they were having like at least some type of chemistry. I got more of a friendship from it, but they at least had some type of chemistry. But by the time he moved in, James was kind of like, let me see if I can go back to my guy, James. I should have put these. Yeah. By the time James moved in with Mariah, he was like quietly losing his stuff. He's like, he's going to go take a walk. He goes outside, he calls his friend, and then he's questioning if he made the right decision. And I was like, okay. I think this was episode 4. So they start off, these two, Raya and James, and they're playing this I didn't even get the name of the card game, but you can kind of see that Raya's missing intimacy. We're getting questions like, do you prefer the lights on or lights off? She wants the lights off. Do you prefer eyes open or eyes closed when you kiss? Eyes closed. And I forgot what the other thing was. You're talking about foreplay, and he was like, it's my job to do the things, girl. And she was like, yeah, I don't even know what foreplay is. And I was like, is she just shading Trey? But we kind of get into that like as we get very, very late in the episode. I think it was episode either 6 or 7. Um, and these two were initially giving me friend vibes, and that's all we really seem to get from them. Let me go back. Roxanne and Alex, again, nothing else to talk about. These two just, they was last episode trying to set up their desk. This episode, it's, work, 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 work. And I'm like, I don't know if these two have any chemistry or what exactly is going on between the two of them. Oh, let me double back. I should just go and order my brains, not my head. There was a date where he gives her like by the poolside um rose petals, champagne or wine, and then they got back to the apartment and it was downhill from there. And then these two just never connected from them. I'm not quite sure what his issue was one night, like I said, because we're gonna skip through it because I have a bunch of pages of notes and it really wasn't all that much. But one night she was like begging him for to hold her hand, and it was just really awkward and really cringe. And he was like, I like to hold hands and like in the car driving, but situational. It was totally, totally, totally weird. And I was like, yikes. So, like I said, that was the last good thing we seen from the two of them. Um, did I? Nope. I don't want to. I ain't want to double them, so we just gonna bounce around. Kat and Antonio, they had like a picnic, and he just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and barely let her get in a word edgewise. And he's talking about, financially, like he's not in a great position, and because Roxanne's the boss, and so sometimes, for him to be romantic is hard because you spend, $500 on a date, and that's a fourth of your paycheck, or I forgot what the exact amount it was, but he let her chime in for like a hot 2 seconds, and that was it. Yes, yes, yes. I did not know if she was playing, but she might not have been. she, she might not have been playing. Who else? I should have just gone off the top of my head and just let myself be great and just left these notes alone. These two got along entirely well. I got a friend vibes from her. he at one point definitely started to dig her, and so that was pretty cool. They went to somebody's parents. They went to me. No, that's Antonio. That's Antonio. Nope, there it is. They went to meet Alex's parents. Again, it was another thing that was cringe. She was vibing with the parents because the parents are business owners. She was totally and completely throwing her ex shade, which we saw her do. This is now what, like episode 4 or 5? We saw her do this the whole entire time. So yeah, that's basic. Let me just look at my notes really quick and just make sure. His parents did call her out for not believing in marriage when her parents have been married for 30 years plus, but um I mean, did they meet her parents in this episode? Or was that the next episode? That probably was the next episode. So by the time we get to episode 5, we meet Roxanne's parents. Her mom seems a little skeptical. Her father was real chill, real cool, asking all the questions. And I had said to myself that, I don't know if these two really know each other or even like each other like that. Now I'm trying to see where in my notes was it that I figured out. Oh, what I did want to double back to, which I did kind of bring it up, but she got a bum deal because of Brian leaving and her getting stuck with James. Not that she was perfect in the situation. I don't want to say that, but he kind of just checked out, and he had brought up at one point that he cheated on his girlfriend because we were discussing, I guess, what intimacy meant when she was begging to have her hand held. We're discussing what intimacy meant, and she, believes hugs and holding hands and stuff like that because she doesn't really seem to want to take it any further on the show. Which, yes, that's what you should be doing. But for him, it's like intimacy is taking a shower, which are whatever, and having sex and all of these other things. And she just wasn't into it, and she ended up getting upset. And he's basically, I said, "What is this?" He has some secrets that he want to talk about. But I'm like, what did this man go through in his life that like his only is it the cheating? Is it like why is your only way to show intimacy to what I'm saying? But child, I digress. So she definitely got the short end of stick on that was on episode 4. It doesn't make any sense in that setting. Like with Raya, I have here, she came from a single parent household, as does James. So if one of them said that they don't believe in marriage, or they don't know, they don't have a model of what it looks like, then I honestly say that. But I feel like, and somebody else, I think it was Kat's friends in later episodes were like, is it that they don't want to be married or they don't want to be married to you? And I think in the case of Roxanne, that was definitely what the case was. She didn't really want to be married to Antonio. Antonio was definitely giving me those boy toy vibes. I think I have that later on in my notes. So Roxanne's father asked, would you marry yourself? And he had to stumble over the answer, but he said that he was doing better than the majority of the others, which I was like, yikes, that's not good. Um Ryan's brother and Ryan's brother's girlfriend, they meet. There was really nothing too substantial about that conversation. Just about her opening. And what I did notice about Ryan, like I said, because I skipped over a lot of notes because I took a lot of notes and then I was like, why did I take this so many notes? It's really not that serious. But what I did tend to notice from Ryan is I kept feeling like she wasn't Trey, like the way he was into her, like they definitely had a friendship. I'll give them that. And it was very, very easy, very, very breezy. They didn't fight, they didn't argue. They had a lot of the deep conversations and things like that. But what I did notice is, to me, I was like, okay, so what we have here is her, falling in love with herself, and what she wants. And I was like, she not gonna be with Trey. She's not gonna be with James. She's gonna choose herself. I was not right. So um, they have ladies night, guys night. Nothing really to report. They're having a lot of superficial conversation. Let me just look through it really, really quickly. They were talking about being into conspiracy theories. I have Alex, but it was Antonio. I'm sorry if I'm driving y'all crazy with these slides. I just want y'all to know who I'm talking about, and that's why I said I went with my headspace and not just going by the notes, so I wouldn't be flipping back and forth. But I guess he's into conspiracy theories, and Roxanne is like, I hate that shit. um, yeah. Then at some point they start to have these conversations, and then we get a large. Well, James is saying that he's telling Trey that Raya doesn't want to get married. He shouldn't marry her, and that basically she was down DTF. We'll put it like that. And Trey's like, that's interesting because she called me crying, saying that you want to have sex and she didn't. So I think that he was just because I think he was trying to break the two of them up, even though he didn't want her. I'm guessing because Trey was dating his girlfriend. Just my synopsis. And then I don't know why they set it up this way this year, but these two couples, Kat and Antonio, and Alex and Roxanne, those are the two that kind of coupled off and started having all of this conversation that I really didn't think was necessary, and just kind of digging into the issues and things like that. And then Roxanne is calling Alex a liar and he doesn't open car doors, and child, it was quite bizarre, and I didn't understand why they were having this conversation. Now, the big thing that Alex did end up sharing with Antonio, who we have here on the screen, that's Roxanne's partners, is he was like, he felt like he was holding back because he wanted to know, are you trying to leave with my girl? Are you trying to leave by yourself? Are you trying to leave with your girl? But he didn't want to tell him. And then finally he breaks down and he's like, he didn't really want to say it, but he tells them, like, I think that you're Roxanne's whipping boy, and that she doesn't respect you. And baby, Antonio lost it. She didn't say that. She couldn't have said that. She didn't say that. She couldn't have said that, sir. She didn't have to. We saw that all. What episode is this? We on episode 5, getting ready to go episode 6. We saw this the whole time. Any opportunity that homegirl got to throw this man under the bus and talk about what he was doing and what he wasn't doing, she was doing just that. It's reality, but you know how they do a reality shows nowadays. This is supposed to be a dating show. So, um, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. So then what was episode 6? So now they get to go back to their people. Oh, child. So this is episode they're gonna go back to their people. So now they get back home, they're checking in this ladies' night, fellas' night, and what had happened and who has said and what has said. And um I can't remember if Antonio had called Roxanne at that point, but Roxanne found out that Alex had said that she does not respect him. And so then she was like, I never said that. I thought this was a safe space. Girl, girl, girl. But those were his feelings. It was a whole kerfuffle. Antonio and Roxanne got on the phone. He done ran over there to see her crying in her arms. He never came back home to poor Kat. It just was a shit show. Like I said, I don't even know why they arranged it this way for these two couples to be talking to each other to decide that in depth. But that's what we got. Like I said, this man never came home. When he came back, it was kind of like just whatever. Alex and um Roxanne. Yeah, I'm like, hopefully it's close. Alex and Roxanne were having this conversation, and it was whatever. So she apologized to him for her tone. He didn't apologize. It was quite funny. Trey told Ryan that he caught feelings, and then basically I think they were just going to meet with Nick and Vanessa and go back to their partners. Let me just double check and see. Yeah, because these two are looking in the mirror and they didn't like what they see. And I'm not really too sure how they got to this point because they was vibing on the money thing and the meeting the parents and everything. And then somehow at some point, I think it has something to do with her asking the man to clean up and he didn't feel like cleaning up, and that's how we got here. But I was like, how did we get here? I thought you guys fake liked each other on the work tip, but baby, once she says something about her Antonio, her little boy toy, she wasn't happy. And I'm like, you did not want that man. But like I said, it was like looking in the mirror and she did not like what she saw. And he did not like what he saw either. Um, yeah, child. This episode, we just got into the whole thing of whether he was lying, he wasn't lying. It was just redonkulous. Because like I said, they got back with their partners and really not too much happened. This was what, episode 7. So when they did get back home, this one right here. Oh, I don't know. Should I put her back? Should I put her back with her boo? She said that she and Antonio, that they did get it popping, and she initiated. He smelled like Funyuns, but she initiated it, and he's still insecure. Like I said, I'm just trying to like that boy toy. Raya, yeah, Raya was kind of checked out when they got back together because he did tell her that he did develop feelings for um what the baby Ryan. Um I had Antonio was still in denial. Oh, okay. So at the end of this episode, this was episode 7 before we actually got the answers. Yes, that's what she said. She said he smelled like Funyuns, but she still initiated it and got it popping. That's why I said he must be her boy toy. He must blow her back out. Because they sound like they have a lot of breakup to make up and they still together. So Antonio is still in denial. And then let me go on over here to Mr. James. Mr. James, where are you? Here. So is it the next episode? Maybe it's the next episode. Um okay, that's what happened. So with Mr. James, he, and this is why I have the notes, but I feel like I should have just condensed the notes to like the key points because I don't said it 70 to 75 times. All of these notes. And they weren't necessary. So the night they had these two, it's like I don't even remember what time of morning it was, but homegirl had like tapped her fingers or something on the table. I can't remember exactly, but sir was triggered and they had to have a whole argument for 1, 2, like 3 hours all into the early morning that he felt like was just a little you know He felt like it was a little kerfuffle. Was this when we Raya has intimacy issues? Oh, okay. Okay. Right. So I wasn't wrong. So we'll get the James thing out now. Then we'll move to Raya. Then episode 8, which child, we don't even care. James, he goes through all of this. So then I think the next day on their date, he divulges to Ryan that his dad passed away at 2. His mom kind of checked out and she was always busy and she was always at work. So he couldn't really communicate with her. He felt like he had to live up to all the good of his dad and be the man of the house and anything like that. And I think he's an only child. So yeah, so he was telling her that, and then he disclosed that it got really heavy on him. So he started to self-harm. This episode was really, really dark. Um, so yeah, they gave us a disclaimer in the episode, and you're like, you see, we got some understanding of why James is the way he is, because he was giving weird, he was giving creep, he was giving robot, he was giving all of the things. Araya, on the other hand, they meet up with her sister, her homegirl, I can't remember, her and Trey, and as they're getting into the conversation, her, where is she? Nope, she back this way. As they get into the conversation, she had a really good friend or sister or child, whatever she was, that was kind of trying to get them to see both sides of things and them working things out. And she was like, "Oh, you mean so you told him, like he knows you can't get moist? We're gonna, I guess, use that word." Like I said, she had intimacy issues, so he done excuse himself. Thanks, Kendall. He done excuse himself to go to the bathroom. And yeah, my girl has intimacy issues. So maybe there is no foreplay. That's something to talk about. That's some therapy. That's some therapy for her. That's probably some therapy for the both of them so they can sit down and have the conversations that need to be had, because sometimes it's a psychological thing. And then I'm wondering to myself, like, has she never, or is it just him? Or because I thought she was playing earlier when she told James that she may not know what foreplay and intimacy was. Yeah, mm-hmm. That was everybody's face at that point in life. Um, So then immediately after that, in episode 8, we sit down and meet with James's mom. And James was supposed to go into NASA. So the financial thing is really, really heavy for him. And the mom basically was like, I didn't have an opportunity to think about feelings. I went where the money was at. And the mom was a little irksome and upset with Ryan because, she didn't want to move and leave her family, and so now he feels like family is the most important thing, and the mom was kind of like, whatever. Trey and Raya had a romantic dinner. Roxanne and Antonio, nobody cares. um he found out that he was supposed to be closing on a business, I believe is what he said. Just a couple on a strange self right there. It was a whole lot. um yeah, let me just make sure. It wasn't else, nothing else to it. Thank you, pretty girl. I'm just running through this thing super duper. Well, I thought it was super duper quick. It's been an hour, but it's been an hour and 8 episodes. So it is what it is. And so, spoiler alert, Ultimatum Day is not really, well, I mean, the whole thing is one big spoiler. The moral to the story is all the couples proposed and everybody said yes. I was like, that's really uneventful. So like I said, I took all of his notes and I was like, okay, I'm 0 for 2. Okay, I'm 0 for 3. And I was like, yeah, I was entirely wrong. I thought, I'll go through the couples right here. So Roxanne and Antonio, I thought he was gonna ask and she was gonna say no. I was wrong. She surprised herself. These two weren't there. I thought he was gonna ask and she was gonna choose herself. I was wrong. She said yeah. I thought because these two ended up getting into a conversation about her wanting to move to was Atlanta. She wanted to live in the city for a little while, and he didn't want to do that, which I get because if you don't have no set plan of doing things like to go, anywho, I wasn't too sure he was gonna. Ooh, let me go back. I wasn't too sure he was gonna pick her because I thought he really, really wanted to be with Ryan, and I was like, she's not gonna pick him either. And he asked her, and she said yes. I don't think he was gonna ask, but he did, and she said yes, and I was like, okay then, uneventful as you want to be. I mean, it makes the recap go a lot faster, but that was it. They basically did a wife swap. We ended up with 4 couples instead of 5. They basically just switched partners, and everybody said yes, and I was like, yeah. So when the couples came out for the reunion, they told us it was an empty chair or empty couch, and they told us that Lisa and Brian were going to be there. You remember that was this couple that left. I gotta go back. They in the middle here somewhere. They did end up showing up. And I said kudos to them because I'm about to call that girl Jocelyn. And I just watched The Love is Blind after the Ulta. Why I can't think of that lady's name? I mean, I would have liked a little more drama, mix it up a little bit, make it think you was gonna be with somebody else, but it was like no, I think the third episode, I just went through my notes so quickly. I was like, none of these people need to be together. None of them need to be together. I thought that um Alex and Roxanne were going to go off into the, financial sunset, but that didn't happen. And I just thought everybody else was going to break up, and that's what they needed to do because none of these people needed to be together, in my opinion. Um, Josh and what is that lady's name from the last Love is Blind? I can't remember her name, child, but the two of them, they didn't even show up to the last reunion. They had a pre-recorded video. So I did at least applaud these two for showing up together. We got a flashback of everybody not believing that there was a baby. And like I said, I found out right before this, like 2 days before this aired, that there was a 4-month-old. So they came on. I said there was a baby. Everybody apologized. At this point, the little baby was 7 weeks old. Because this was, I think, a year after. And he had a little pierced nose. I was like, I'm not that my nose. I'm doing this because my nose is pierced too. He had a little pierced nose, and he was definitely liking what he see. And Mama was not with the and everybody was up in arms about it. So, um, Roxanne apologized because she was one of the people that did not believe there was no baby. Which I said the lengths of extremes that she went to. That I mean, that's what we thought. And then Raya with the mic drop reveals that her and Lisa, they weren't cool, but they went to get their nails done. And Lisa told her that she was a Hooters. So she was pretty disappointed that she was calling her the Hooters bitch because and then Lisa was like, I don't care. I don't care. I was like, oh, she was like, it's not about the profession, it's about the person. And she thought she wanted her man. Child, everybody was trying to eat Miss Lisa alive. I was trying to leave my fellow Gemini alone, but sis, you could have kept some of that energy. You could have kept some of that energy. They're still not married. She still wants to be married. They focus on taking care of their kids. She don't want to be a baby mama. And then they start playing this little game on how well do you know your partner, talking about hall passes, who they were nervous to see. Now she was nervous to see Miss Raya. So I think that's why she gave her the energy that she did, but I digress. The hall pass thing was funny because somebody said Ryan Reynolds, and James, when he was doing threesomes with or talking about threesomes with Raya, he had said Ryan Reynolds, but not for that purpose. He just wanted to talk to him, and I felt kind of weird about that. Hey, twin. They give us a hard time. We be fighting for our life in these streets. It's like, I mean, everybody got two personalities if you think about it. Even if you talk about your code switching, personality, there's always two there. There's the one you show to the public, and then whatever. So Roxanne and Mr. Antonio, he did end up opening a car wash, and then he's got another car wash, and he's going to convert to a detailing place. Anyway, they still together. She ain't wearing her ring. Wrong hand, because I don't have no hand on that ring finger. Which we pointed out, and she took it off the day after they got engaged, because we were all surprised that she said yes to begin with. She basically ain't got no time for marriage. She didn't think about marriage. We brought up that Nick is an ordained minister, and she was like, yeah, absolutely not. Because at first she was trying to, throw it to men don't have to wear rings and we have to wear rings. So James is like, so why you just don't, he's like, I'd like to wear a ring. Just get him a ring. It wasn't about the ring. She don't want that man. She don't want that man. And I don't think that period. I don't think that they're together. I think that they was just trying to shave face for the show. We got like a James After Dark clip that was pretty creepy of him. It was just creepy. It was just creepy. We got a bunch of apologies, and I'm trying to see wedding dates. So James and Ryan, these two have a September 30th date of this year. These two have spring of 2025 because she wants a destination wedding, all gold, everything. And who else? Yes, Alex and Kat, May 10th of next year. Everybody had like their little save the dates and stuff like that. And then, they're kind of talking, baby talk and all that good stuff. And that was the end of it. They were just basically saying, has it made life better? Yes. Will they do it again? No. Are you glad you did it? Yes. And that was basically the wrap up of the whole doggone thing. Everybody's still together. I think, like I said, Roxanne and Antonio, in my feeling that they're not together, but nobody asked me. These two. It was the most cringy thing because she looked like, oh my God, why did you ask me that? And then she was like doing this. He was like, you have to say it. I'm like, did she say yes? She said yes, only to show up on that. And then that's what somebody else was saying that. Not James. James was saying just get him a ring. Oh, Alex. Her boy Alex was like, it takes a lot of effort to just not wear your ring. And I was like, I'm right there with you, especially because Vanessa's like, you got a ring on every single finger except that one. So she was just being spiteful. And that was the ultimatum. I thought I had a lot more to say about it than I did. I mean, I went through the notes that I had, but like I said, after we got past Lisa and Brian leaving, it wasn't really that much. Yeah. This was the one I was supposed to have up for the reunion. The two different covers. And then we got this. And I can't read it. This was just 2 days ago. I can't read it on screen pool. I think I still have it on my phone. The ultimatum. This is from Raya's page on Instagram. Next chapter, motherhood. These past 5 months have been so sweet and special, from hearing your heartbeat to little flutters and kicks. We cannot wait to meet you. And I was really excited about that because that was the girl that didn't get to carry her last pregnancy to term. So, and they have a destination wedding planned, which somebody was like 2 years. I'm like, you need that time for everybody to get their money together and do your planning. So I thought that was pretty exciting, and I was happy about it. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else I want to say about these crazy people, because I'm gonna be mad if I end this live and I'll be like, I didn't say that. I don't want to say that. It was. I thought it was. I was like, oh, and I was just cruising the streets because I had already had everything up, and then right before I was like, oh my god, they don't have any slides, they don't have any pictures of these these people, and then I was like, oh, she's pregnant. I was like, that's cool. So she's pregnant. The other one had a baby, but I don't know if they're gonna get married or not. These two might get married. And don't ask, he's there. I don't know.
Did you only have $30 on that card?
Anywho, Kendall, thank you for coming through. I'm about to wrap this good thing up. I'm glad you came in, hung out with me for a little while. I gotta go through some of these. Oh, I never had this one on. Look, see, I'll be making these things and forgetting to put them on. Spent all these time making banners and forget to put the banners on. Why? Why? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not cool. That's not cool. Anybody that comes through, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this season. And I think another thing is, I'm always a sucker for my nerves in the lives because it's like you right there on the spot. There's no editing. But another thing is like trying to be politically correct with some of this stuff because y'all be giving people the business. So we're not gonna act like it's okay that Lisa mushed that man in that face and never apologized, and nobody ever addressed it on the reunion because Nick and Vanessa are terrible hosts. We're gonna say that. We're gonna say that. And something else, I was like, I'm not about to touch that with a 10-foot pole. My son is playing with his little flashlight, y'all. But yes, leave a comment, hit hashtag replay. I'm still working on getting up Roha recaps. Just bear with me. Because what I was trying to do is be like Miss Candy Burris and get you the Roha recap, the last episode and the past recap the same day, like she did, because that was her drop schedule. But that's not gonna happen. So hopefully, and the kids are about to go back to school, so hopefully I'll get at least maybe one more up, and then tomorrow night I will be doing a live recap for the past. Say hi, because I'm about to go. A live recap tomorrow night. Hopefully I don't have to change the time again on you. Time again on you. It's either 7 or 7:30. I can't remember. For Candy Burris and Todd Tucker's The Past. I know everybody and their mom has done a recap, but I have to stop doing that. Just because everybody else does it doesn't mean like, oh, it's too late. I can't do it. So I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to talk about it. Thank you for coming through. I hope that everybody has a good night. And I will see you in the next one.
Subscribe. How could you forget to say?